The deep space listening post on Proxima Centauri III was quiet, as it had been for decades. Senior Communications Officer Ziraxil stared at the monitoring equipment, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of boredom among Thraxians. His scales had dulled from years spent under artificial lighting, away from the nurturing radiation of his homeworld. Another dull shift in a career of monitoring cosmic background noise. Ziraxil stretched his limbs and prepared the daily report that no one would read. Then the equipment beeped. At first he thought it was a malfunction. The signal came from somewhere it shouldn't, the empty void where Earth once existed. Nothing had come from that region in over 100,000 years, not since the planet's destruction. Ziraxil's heart chambers quickened. He ran the standard checks, certain it was an error. The signal persisted. "Computer, analyze transmission origin," he said, his voice breaking the silence of the monitoring room. Origin confirmed. Spatial coordinates match historical location. Of Sol system, 3rd planet. Ziraxil's scales flushed deep purple, the Thraxian equivalent of going pale. Impossible. Earth was destroyed in the Great Cataclysm. Nothing remains there. Yet the signal continued, growing stronger. When the computer finally decoded it, 3 simple words appeared on the screen. "We're back." The language was ancient human English, a language studied by scholars but not used in common communication for millennia. Within 6 hours, the news reached the Galactic Confederacy headquarters. Within 12, they called in specialists. Among them was Dr. Lisa Montgomery. Lisa was working in her lab at the University of New Arcturus when the message came. She had been cataloging artifacts from early human colony ships, pieces of her own heritage. As one of the few remaining humans in the galaxy, Lisa had dedicated her life to studying where she came from. Earth was a myth to most, but to humans like her, it was the cradle of their species. "Dr. Montgomery," the message read, "your expertise is required urgently at Proxima Centauri III. Transportation arranged. Departure in 3 hours. No explanation, no details. Just a priority level she had never seen before." Lisa packed quickly, her mind racing with possibilities. As she threw clothes and equipment into her bag, her communication device chimed. "You got the message too?" It was Dr. Alan Shepard, her colleague and former lover. His face on the screen looked as confused as she felt. "Yes. Do you know what's happening?" she asked. Alan shook his head. "All I know is they're gathering everyone with expertise in pre-diaspora Earth. Something big, Lisa." "I'll see you at the transport," she said, ending the call. Their relationship had ended badly 2 years ago, when his obsession with proving controversial theories about Earth's destruction had overshadowed everything else. Now they would be working together again. The transport ship moved faster than any civilian vessel, cutting through space at speeds that made Lisa's stomach turn. When they arrived at Proxima Centauri III, a group of Confederacy officials met them. The tension was palpable. "This way," said an official, a tall Meribian with translucent skin through which Lisa could see the rhythm of 3 beating hearts. "Grand Minister Corvin is waiting." Lisa had never seen the Grand Minister in person. The leader of the Galactic Confederacy rarely concerned himself with archaeological matters. Something was very wrong. They entered a large chamber where officials from various species gathered around a central holographic display. Grand Minister Corvin, a massive Valorian with ceremonial cyber enhancements glinting in the light, turned to face them. "Dr. Montgomery, Dr. Shepard, thank you for coming quickly," he said, his voice like stone grinding against metal. "We have a situation that requires your expertise." The holographic display activated, showing a pulsing dot in empty space. 3 days ago, our listening post detected a signal from this location. Corvin continued. "This is, or was, the location of Earth." Lisa felt her heart skip. That's impossible. Nothing could have survived the destruction. The entire system was... "We know what the historical records say, Doctor," Corvin interrupted. "Yet the signal exists, and it's in human language." The hologram changed to display the decoded message. "We're back." Alan stepped forward, unable to contain himself. This confirms what I've been saying for years. Earth wasn't completely destroyed. Some portion of humanity must have survived. The officials murmured among themselves. Lisa noticed the fear in their eyes. Humans had always been viewed with suspicion in the Confederacy. Unpredictable, adaptable, sometimes dangerous. A minority barely tolerated. The signal contains more, said a Thraxian officer Lisa assumed was Ziraxil, the one who discovered Dai. Embedded in the carrier wave are coordinates. Coordinates to what? Lisa asked. Unknown. They point to a location in deep space, far from any star system or known celestial body. The Grand Minister's expression darkened. The council is divided. Some believe we should investigate. Others think we should destroy the signal source immediately. Lisa couldn't believe what she was hearing. Destroy it? Without even knowing what it is. This could be the most important discovery in galactic history. It could also be a threat, Corvin said. Your species has always been unpredictable. Alan laughed bitterly. You mean we don't always follow orders like good subjects of the Confederacy? Lisa shot him a warning glance. This wasn't the time for his rebellious attitudes. I propose a compromise, she said. Let us lead a small expedition to these coordinates. If there's any danger, we retreat and inform the council. But we can't ignore this. We need to know. Corvin considered her words. The council will decide tomorrow. Until then, you will work with our analysts to learn everything possible from this signal. As the meeting ended, Lisa pulled Alan aside. What do you think this is, really? Alan's eyes shone with excitement. Remember my theory that Earth wasn't destroyed by a natural cataclysm? That the early Confederacy species feared humanity's potential? Not this conspiracy again, Lisa sighed. Think about it, Lisa. What if some humans found a way to escape? What if they've been out there all this time, growing stronger, waiting? For 100,000 years? Lisa shook her head. That's impossible. Later that night, alone in her assigned quarters, Lisa studied the signal data. Hidden beneath the coordinates, she found something the Confederacy analysts had missed, a fragmented message encoded differently from the rest. As she decoded it piece by piece, her hands began to shake. The message was simple, but its implications were enormous. Lisa Montgomery, Alan Shepard, we've waited for your births. Come find us. The message knew their names. Somehow, whatever sent this signal had been waiting specifically for them. Lisa stared out her window at the stars, suddenly feeling very small. How could something know they would exist, thousands of generations after Earth's destruction? What was waiting for them at those coordinates? And most importantly, who or what had really come back? Lisa did not sleep that night. The hidden message with her name kept her awake. By morning, she had made her decision. She would not tell anyone about it. Not yet, not even Alan. The council meeting was tense. Representatives from 12 species sat in a semicircle, their faces showing various degrees of concern and curiosity. Grand Minister Corvin called for order. We have reached a decision, he announced. A small expedition will investigate the coordinates. However, we will be prepared to destroy whatever we find if it poses any threat to the Confederacy. Lisa and Alan exchanged glances. This was what they wanted. Yet something about Corvin's tone worried Lisa. The expedition will include Dr. Montgomery and Dr. Shepard as consultants, Corvin continued. But it will be commanded by Captain Susan Grant of our Exploration Division. A tall woman with short blonde hair stepped forward. Her uniform was immaculate, her expression stern. We depart in 6 hours. Be ready. Lisa recognized Susan Grant's name. One of the few humans who had risen to a command position in the Confederacy. Her reputation was impressive. Tough, smart, and absolutely loyal to the Confederacy despite her human heritage. Can we trust her? Alan whispered as they left the chamber. We don't have a choice, Lisa replied. The exploration vessel was called the Starseeker. It was larger than Lisa expected, sleek and powerful. As they boarded, Lisa noticed the crew was unusually diverse for a Confederacy ship. Many were human or part human. Welcome aboard, said a cheerful voice. A man with slightly blue-tinted skin extended his hand. Paul Rodriguez, chief engineer, half-human, half-Arcturian, all genius. His smile was infectious, and Lisa found herself warming to him immediately. You're in charge of getting us to these mysterious coordinates? Paul nodded. My specialty is wormhole navigation. Whatever's waiting for us out there, we'll find it. The Alberio. Ship's security chief was a serious man named Jack Owen. His handshake was firm, his eyes constantly scanning for threats. Former Earth Colony Defense Force, he explained briefly. I'll keep you safe. The final core member of the crew was Kara Williams, a human xenobiologist with bright eyes and a quick mind. Excited to be working with you, Dr. Montgomery. Your papers on human adaptive genetics were revolutionary. Lisa was surprised. You read my work? Everyone interested in human history has, Kara said with a smile. We're a dying breed, you know. Humans make up less than 0.01% of the Confederacy population now. The ship departed smoothly, sliding out of the space dock and accelerating quickly to faster-than-light speed. Lisa watched as the stars blurred outside the viewport. She had never traveled this far from known space before. In her cabin, Lisa reviewed the signal data again. The coordinates would take them to a region of space far from any star system, a patch of seemingly empty void. What could possibly be there? There was a knock at her door. It was Alan. Can we talk? He asked. Lisa hesitated, then let him in. Their history was complicated. 2 years ago, they had been more than colleagues. But when Alan became obsessed with his theories about Earth's destruction, she couldn't follow him down that path. What do you think we'll find? He asked, sitting on the edge of her small desk. I don't know, Lisa admitted. But I found something, in the signal I haven't told anyone about yet. Alan's eyes widened as she showed him the hidden message with their names. How is this possible? He whispered. I don't know that either, Lisa said. But it changes everything. We need to be careful who we trust, Alan said. The Confederacy has always feared humans. If they think there's a threat, they'll destroy, first and ask questions later. Lisa nodded. Captain Grant seems loyal to the Confederacy. Too loyal, maybe. We should talk to the others, Paul, Jack, and Kara. They're human too, or part human. Maybe they'll help us if things go wrong. 3 days into the journey, the ship's library system malfunctioned, granting Lisa access to historical records normally restricted to high-level officials. She couldn't believe it was an accident. What she found shocked her. The official history said Earth was destroyed by a natural cataclysm, a chain reaction in the sun that caused it to briefly expand, consuming the inner planets before settling back to normal. But these hidden records told a different story. Earth had been deliberately targeted. The founding species of the Confederacy had feared humanity's rapid advancement and unpredictable nature. They engineered the solar event, making it look natural, while ensuring Earth's destruction. Lisa downloaded everything she could before the system corrected itself. When she showed Alan, his face was grim. I knew it, he said. I've been saying this for years, but I never had proof. We can't tell anyone yet, Lisa warned. Not until we know who to trust. As they approached the coordinates, strange things began to happen. Crew members reported odd dreams. Equipment malfunctioned in ways the engineers couldn't explain. And Lisa started seeing things. Brief flashes of a blue sky, green grass, things she had only seen in historical images of Earth. It's affecting you too? Jack asked, finding her staring at her shaking hands in the mess hall. The visions? Lisa was surprised. You're having them? Jack nodded. Earth. I see Earth as it was. But I was born on Colony 9. I've never seen Earth except in pictures. More crew members reported similar experiences. Something was affecting them all, increasingly strongly as they neared their destination. On the 7th day, Paul called an emergency meeting in the engine room, away from the ship's monitoring systems. We're not heading to a place, he said, voice low. We're heading to a time. What do you mean? Lisa asked. Paul's eyes were bright with excitement and fear. The coordinates, they're not just spatial. There's a temporal component. We're being guided to a specific point in space-time. A time machine? Alan asked, skeptical. More like a gateway, Paul explained. Something is bending space and time around these coordinates. I've never seen anything like it. Captain Grant's voice came over the intercom, interrupting them. All senior staff to the bridge. We're approaching the target coordinates. As they entered the bridge, the view screen showed only empty space. Then something began to appear. A distortion at first, then growing, expanding. What is that? Captain Grant demanded. Lisa stepped forward, staring at the massive structure, now visible before them. It was a perfect sphere, enormous beyond comprehension, at least 30 million kilometers in diameter. It seemed to be built around a neutron star, harvesting its energy. The surface was covered in countless tiny lights, cities perhaps, or energy collection points. It's human, she whispered, somehow certain. The design principles, they're advanced beyond anything I've seen, but the underlying approach is human. Impossible, said one of the Confederacy observers. No human civilization could build something like this. But Lisa knew, deep in her bones, that she was right. And as if confirming her thoughts, a message appeared on the main communication screen. Welcome, home, children of Earth. We've been waiting for you. The bridge of the Starseeker fell silent. Every crew member stared at the message on the screen. Captain Grant was the first to recover. Open a communication channel, she ordered. Channel open, said the communications officer, a young Thraxian, whose scales had turned pale blue with fear. This is Captain Susan Grant of the Galactic Confederacy vessel Starseeker. Identify yourself. There was a pause. Then the screen changed. A man appeared, or what seemed to be a man. He looked perfectly human with kind eyes and graying hair. He wore simple white clothing with no visible technology. Hello, Captain Grant. My name is Gregory Clark. On behalf of the Continuum, I welcome you, especially our lost cousins. His eyes moved to Lisa and Alan, then to Paul, Jack, and Kara, the human and part human crew members. What is the Continuum? Captain Grant asked. Gregory smiled. We are what remains of Earth, what evolved from Earth. We've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. One of the Confederacy observers pushed forward. Earth was destroyed 100,000 years ago. No human civilization could have built this structure. From your perspective, yes, that much time has passed, Gregory agreed. Time flows differently where we have been. Lisa stepped forward. The signal knew our names. How? Because we have been watching, waiting for the right humans to be born. You and Alan have the right combination of knowledge, curiosity, and connections to help us reconnect with the galaxy. Captain Grant's expression hardened. You've been spying on Confederacy worlds? Gregory's expression became sad. We've been watching over our lost children, the few humans who escaped Earth's destruction in the early colony ships, your ancestors. May we come aboard? Lisa asked suddenly. Captain Grant turned to her in shock. Dr. Montgomery, that is not your decision to make. Actually, Gregory said, I was about to invite you to dock with our station. There's much to show you that cannot be explained through a view screen. The captain hesitated, then nodded curtly. We will accept your invitation, but be warned, any hostile action will be met with force. Gregory smiled. We mean you no harm. Follow the guidance beacon to docking bay 17. As the Starseeker approached the massive structure, they could see details that weren't visible from a distance. The surface was not solid, but composed of countless smaller structures all connected in a complex pattern. It reminded Lisa of pictures she had seen of coral reefs on ancient Earth. It's beautiful, she whispered. The docking process was smooth, as if the station itself was guiding them. When they stepped out of the airlock, Gregory was waiting with two others who looked equally human. Welcome to New Earth, he said, though that name doesn't quite capture what we are now. The air smelled fresh, like a forest after rain. The gravity felt perfect. Everything was designed to make humans comfortable. This way, Gregory said, leading them down a corridor that seemed to be made of some living material. It glowed softly, providing light without any visible lamps. They entered a large circular room with a window that looked out into space. But when Lisa looked closer, she gasped. It wasn't space she was seeing. It was Earth. Blue oceans, green, and brown land masses, white clouds swirling across the surface. Is that? She began. A memory, Gregory said, and a promise. He gestured to seats that formed around them, growing out of the floor. As they sat, the room darkened slightly and the image of Earth grew larger. I need to tell you the truth, Gregory said. The full truth about what happened to Earth. Images began to form around them, so real that Lisa felt she could reach out and touch them. They showed Earth as it was before its destruction. Cities, forests, oceans. Humanity was young but advancing quickly, Gregory explained. Too quickly for the comfort of other species who had already begun to explore the stars, particularly the Valorians and Thraxians. The Confederacy observers shifted uncomfortably. They saw in humans something they feared: adaptability, creativity, and a certain useful ruthlessness when threatened. They decided Earth needed to be eliminated before humans expanded beyond their solar system. The images changed, showing massive ships positioning themselves around the sun. Energy beams penetrated deep into the star, causing instability. They made it look like a natural disaster, Gregory continued. Then they erased most records of Earth's existence, leaving only fragments of history. They wanted humans forgotten. That's a lie, one of the observers shouted. The Confederacy protects all sentient species. Gregory looked at him sadly. Your ancestors did what they thought was necessary for their survival, but they underestimated us. The images changed again, showing a group of humans working with strange technology. A small group of scientists had developed technology that allowed them to step sideways in reality, into a higher dimension of space-time. When they realized what was happening to the sun, they saved as many as they could by bringing them into this other dimension. How many? Alan asked. Just over 10 million, Gregory said. A tiny fraction of Earth's population, the rest were lost. The weight of this number hung in the air. Billions had died in the cataclysm. In this higher dimension, time flows differently, Gregory explained. We experienced thousands of years of development while only 100,000. Passed in normal space, we evolved, we grew, we transcended many physical limitations. Are you still human? Kara asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming her shock. Gregory smiled. What does it mean to be human? We still carry human DNA, human memories, human values. But we've become something more as well. Why reveal yourselves now? Captain Grant asked. Why not earlier or later? The timing had to be right, Gregory said. The Confederacy needed to evolve past its founding species' prejudices, and we needed certain individuals to exist. He looked at Lisa and Alan. To do what? Lisa asked. To help us return. Not for revenge, but for reconnection. Humanity has learned and grown in ways that could benefit the entire galaxy, and now we face a threat that concerns all intelligent life. Gregory stood and walked to the window. With a gesture, the image changed to show the deep space between galaxies. There is something coming from beyond the galactic rim, something old and patient and hungry. We've been preparing for it for thousands of years in our subjective time. The galaxy will need all its children, working together, to survive what's coming. The room was silent as everyone absorbed this information. Finally, Lisa spoke. Show us, she said. Show us what you've become. What Earth has become. Gregory nodded and led them deeper into the station. They passed through areas where the laws of physics seemed optional at best, spaces that were larger, inside than outside, gardens with plants that responded to thought. Then they entered a vast chamber that seemed to contain ecosystems from Earth. Forests, deserts, oceans, all perfectly preserved. We saved what we could, Gregory said. Not just people, but the essence of Earth itself, its life, its diversity. In the center of the chamber stood a simple glass case. Inside, was a small blue flower, the last daisy picked on Earth before its destruction, Gregory said. A reminder of what we lost and what we fought to preserve. Lisa reached out, her fingers hovering near the glass. All this time, she whispered. You were waiting. And now, Gregory said, we're back. While the crew of the Starseeker learned the truth about Earth's destruction, things were happening back in Confederacy space. The Deep Space Listening Post had continued to monitor the strange signal. When the post lost contact with the Starseeker, they sent the information to Confederacy headquarters. Grand Minister Corvin called an emergency meeting of the High Council. The signal is growing stronger, he told them. And now our ship has vanished. We must assume the worst. The council voted quickly. A battle fleet would be sent to the coordinates. If the Starseeker was found, it would be rescued. If a threat was discovered, it would be eliminated. 20 warships, the largest fleet assembled in centuries, began the journey toward the mysterious structure. Aboard the station, Lisa and the others continued to learn about the continuum. Gregory showed them technology that seemed like magic. Machines that could create matter from energy, medical devices that could heal any injury, and communication systems that worked across dimensions. Your civilization is far beyond the Confederacy, Captain Grant said. Why do you need our help at all? Gregory led them to a new room. This one contained what looked like a pool of silver liquid. This is a window to what we call the deep flow, the underlying current of reality, he explained. Look. Images formed in the liquid. Lisa saw galaxies spinning, stars being born and dying. Then she saw something else, a darkness moving between the stars. Not a physical darkness, but an absence, a void that consumed everything it touched. What is that? She whispered. We call it the hunger, Gregory said. It exists partly in our dimension, partly outside it. It has consumed 3 galaxies already and is moving toward ours. How do we stop it? Alan asked. We can't, not alone. The continuum has the technology, but we are few. The Confederacy has the numbers, but lacks the technology. Together we might have a chance. Captain Grant frowned. The Confederacy will never trust you, not after learning Earth's destruction was their doing. That's why we need you, Gregory said, looking at Lisa and Alan. As bridges between worlds, a soft alarm sounded. Another continuum member entered the room and whispered something to Gregory. His face grew concerned. A Confederacy battle fleet has been detected approaching our position, he said. It seems they've decided we're a threat. You need to let me contact them, Captain Grant said. I can explain. Can you? Gregory asked. Will they believe that the species they tried to exterminate has returned, more powerful than ever, but means them no harm? Or will they assume we seek revenge? Lisa thought about the hidden records she had found, about the systematic attempt to erase human history, about the billions who had died when Earth was destroyed. If they attack, what will you do? She asked. Gregory, defend ourselves but without harming them if possible. We've moved beyond the desire for revenge. Captain Grant received permission to return to the Starseeker to send a message to the approaching fleet. Lisa watched her go with a sense of unease. Do you trust her? Alan asked. I don't know, Lisa admitted. She's human, but she's also Confederacy, to her core. Back on the Starseeker, Captain Grant recorded her message. But when Lisa listened to it later, her heart sank. This is Captain Susan Grant of the Starseeker, the message began. We have encountered a highly advanced civilization calling themselves the Continuum. They claim to be evolved humans who escaped Earth's destruction. Their technology is far beyond ours. I recommend immediate attack before they can complete whatever they're planning. She betrayed us, Jack said, his former military training evident in his rigid posture. She's giving them attack coordinates. Gregory didn't seem surprised. Fear is a powerful force. For 100,000 years, the Confederacy has taught that humans are dangerous. She's doing what she thinks will protect civilization. We need to warn the fleet, Lisa said. Make them understand. They won't listen to us, Alan pointed out. We're just archaeologists. Kara Williams, who had been quiet until now, stepped forward. "I've been working with Gregory's medical team. They've discovered something interesting about our DNA." She pulled up an image on a small device. "All humans share certain genetic markers, even after thousands of years of separation. The Continuum has developed technology that responds only to these markers." "What are you suggesting?" Lisa asked. "We can access their communication systems, send a message directly to every human and part human in the Confederacy fleet. Tell them the truth." Paul Rodriguez grinned. "A genetic broadcast. Brilliant." The plan came together quickly. Lisa and Alan would craft the message. Paul would help adapt the Continuum's technology. Jack would try to delay the Starseeker's departure. Kara would provide the genetic key. As they worked, the battle fleet drew closer. Captain Grant had locked herself on the bridge of the Starseeker, refusing all communication. "She thinks she's saving the galaxy," Jack said after a failed attempt to reach her. "She really believes the Continuum is a threat." "Then we need to prove otherwise," Lisa said. The message they created was simple. It included the historical records showing Earth's deliberate destruction. It showed the Continuum's peaceful development. It explained the real threat, the hunger approaching from beyond the galaxy. "Ready?" Gregory asked as the system powered. Lisa nodded. "Send it." The message went out, aimed specifically at human genetic signatures. Every human and part human in the approaching fleet would receive it directly. On the lead battleship, Admiral Peter Holden was preparing attack coordinates when the message reached him. Images flooded his mind. Earth's destruction, the Continuum's creation, the looming threat from beyond. He staggered, gripping his command chair. Around him, other officers with human ancestry were having similar experiences. The truth, hidden for 100,000 years, was finally being revealed. "Sir," his communications officer said, "the fleet is requesting new orders. Many ships are questioning the attack plan." Admiral Holden took a deep breath. His ancestors had escaped Earth on colony ships. His family had preserved stories of the Blue World for generations. "Stand down weapons," he ordered. "Open a direct channel to the Continuum structure." But not everyone was convinced. 3 ships commanded by pure-blooded Valorians, whose ancestors had ordered Earth's destruction, broke formation. They accelerated toward the Continuum structure. "Weapons powering up. They're going to attack," Lisa said, watching the tactical display. Gregory nodded calmly. "We are prepared." As the attack ships fired their first salvos, the energy beams simply disappeared before reaching the structure. A soft blue light extended from the Continuum, enveloping the 3 ships. They froze in space, unable to move or fire again. "No harm will come to them," Gregory assured Lisa. "But they cannot harm us either." The other ships held position. On the main communication channel, Admiral Holden's face appeared. "This is Fleet Admiral Peter Holden," he said. "On behalf of the Confederacy, I request a ceasefire and diplomatic contact." Gregory smiled. "Welcome, Admiral. We have much to discuss." The Continuum had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same. 3 months passed. The news of Earth's deliberate destruction and the return of advanced human civilization spread throughout the Confederacy. At first, there was panic, then denial, then, slowly, acceptance. Lisa and Alan found themselves at the center of the greatest diplomatic effort in galactic history. As humans who understood both the Confederacy and the Continuum, they became essential bridges between worlds. "The council session begins in 10 minutes, Alan said, entering Lisa's new quarters on the Continuum station. The rooms adjusted themselves constantly to her comfort, learning her preferences. "I'm almost ready," Lisa replied. She looked out, her window at the fleet of ships now surrounding the station. Not warships anymore, but diplomatic vessels, scientific expeditions, and cultural exchange ships from across the Confederacy. Today was important. The Galactic Council was voting on formally recognizing the Continuum and establishing a joint defense against the approaching hunger. "Nervous?" Alan asked, standing beside her. "Terrified," Lisa admitted. "A year ago, I was just an archaeologist studying human artifacts. Now I'm helping negotiate the future of the galaxy." Alan took her hand. Their relationship had rekindled during these intense months. Shared purpose had brought them back together. They made their way to the great meeting hall that had been created, specifically for this occasion. Representatives from every Confederacy species were present, along with members of the Continuum. Gregory nodded to them as they entered. Grand Minister Corvin had been replaced. The new Grand Minister was an Arcturian named Zenth, known for her fairness and adaptability. She called the session to order. Today we vote on Resolution 7293 to formally recognize the Continuum as the legitimate descendants of Earth and to establish the Joint Defense Initiative against the extragalactic threat. Screens around the room displayed images of the hunger, captured by Continuum deep space sensors. The darkness between galaxies was growing, moving closer. "Before we vote," Zenth continued, "Dr. Montgomery and Dr. Shepard have asked to address the Council." Lisa stepped forward. She had practiced this speech for days, but her heart still raced. "Members of the Council," she began. 100,000 years ago, a terrible mistake was made. Earth was destroyed out of fear. Billions died. Those who survived were scattered or hidden. She paused, looking at the faces around her, alien and human alike. Today we have a chance to correct that mistake, not by seeking revenge, but by building something new together. The Continuum doesn't want to conquer or control, they want to share, to help, to prepare all of us for a threat greater than our old conflicts. Alan stepped up beside her. For generations, humans in the Confederacy were taught a false history. We were told Earth died naturally. We were kept ignorant of our heritage, but now the truth is known. And truth gives us the power to choose a different path forward. The vote that followed was not unanimous, but it was decisive. The Continuum would be recognized. The Joint Defense Initiative would begin. A new era of galactic history had started. After the formal proceedings, Gregory found Lisa and Alan. "There's something I want to show you," he said. He led them to a part of the station they hadn't seen before, a vast chamber with a ceiling that seemed to open directly into space. "What is this place?" Lisa asked. "Watch," Gregory said. He made a simple gesture. In the space above them, points of light began to gather. They swirled together, forming a pattern that Lisa recognized: the solar system, the sun, Mercury, Venus. And then, growing from nothing, Earth. Blue oceans formed, green and brown land masses, white swirls of clouds. It looked exactly like the images Lisa had seen in historical records. "Is it real?" she whispered. "In a way," Gregory said. "It's a dimensional projection, not physically present in normal space, but visible and, in some ways, tangible." Alan reached up as if trying to touch it. "Why show us this?" "Because tomorrow we make it visible to the entire galaxy," Gregory said. "Earth returns to its orbit, not as a physical planet yet, but as a symbol. A reminder of what was lost and what has been regained." The next day, ships gathered around the coordinates where Earth had once orbited the Sun. The dimensional technology of the Continuum activated, and there it was. Earth, shining blue and beautiful against the blackness of space. On the observation deck of the lead diplomatic vessel, Admiral Holden stood with Lisa, Alan, and representatives from across the Confederacy. "It's beautiful," the Admiral said. "My great-grandmother used to tell stories about Earth. She said the sky was so blue it made your heart ache." Lisa nodded. "This is just the beginning. The Continuum plans to gradually make it physical again. Real water, real land, real sky." "How long will that take?" asked a young Thraxian diplomat. "Years," Alan said. "Maybe decades. But time is something humans have learned to be patient with." In her pocket, Lisa felt the small communication device Gregory had given her vibrate. The message was simple. "It's time." She took a deep breath and addressed the gathered representatives. "If you'll direct your attention to Earth, the Continuum has prepared something special." As they watched, lights began to appear on the night side of the projected Earth. cities forming, spreading across continents, not as they had been, but as they might be again. A world reborn. A voice echoed through every ship, every communication device. Gregory's voice, but somehow it seemed to speak for all of the continuum, for all of humanity. For 100,000 years, we waited in the spaces between dimensions. We evolved. We learned. We grew beyond what we once were. But we never forgot where we came from. We never forgot Earth. The image of the planet seemed to pulse with life. Today we begin again. Not alone, but together with all the peoples of the galaxy. Earth is reborn, not just for humans, but as a symbol of resilience for all intelligent life. Lisa felt tears on her cheeks. Alan's hand found hers, squeezing tightly. Once your ancestors feared what humans might become, Gregory's voice continued. They were right to fear us, but not because we meant harm, because change is always frightening, evolution is always challenging, growth always disrupts. The Earth continued to glow, brighter now as if lit from within. 100,000 years ago you heard humanity's death cry. Today you hear our rebirth, we're back. And this time, we bring not conquest, but cooperation. Not destruction, but creation. Lisa looked around at the faces of the representatives, alien and human alike. She saw wonder. She saw hope. She saw the future. We're back, she whispered. And this time, we're here to stay.